the big second question today, George. I wanted to ask you it because I have a for sure passionate answer. Should the Mariners be making moves at the trade deadline?
I don't know if they should be, only if it's the right move. And Jerry DiPoto was on ESPN 710, whatever you want to call it now, My Northwest. And he was saying that the way they like to make moves is someone who'll be here for the future, not just a bat, but like last year, Luis Castillo, where he had a 2-year deal and they were able to sign him to a long-term extension. And I would say the only way we should make moves on the trade deadline, if that's something that's going to be part of our future, not just like a stopgap bat for one season or a pitcher for one season. We need someone who's going to be here for the long run.
Yeah, I hate to say it, but we're not the Rangers or the Astros right now who are like, hey, one more bat might win us a World Series. Let's trade for a guy with an expiring contract that we can use as a 300 hitter. Like, We're not in that scenario. My strong answer is no.
Yeah.
Because I don't think even one. Now, I guess it depends what. Should they do it if it's really obviously a good trade, like a Castillo trade? I guess you would always say yes because they're a great ball player. But I'm going to say no in the sense of don't make a trade that's hinders some of your future, like to a good prospect that could be coming up next year. We've seen a lot of our young pitchers come up and play well. Some young bats, like even Caballero has been pretty decent for us as a young guy.
He's actually been pretty good.
Yeah, for a young guy, like you got some guys down there. We don't know what's going to happen with Wu because he had a really awful start, but they put him against the best batting team in the AL, or second best, I guess, after Tampa Bay. So that was a little unfair of a start to judge him. But we've seen Bryce Miller come in and do well. We've seen we're gonna see more of Wu. Kirby and Gilbert came up the last 2 years and were great. Julio, Kelnick now. So like I don't want to completely risk our future good prospect if it's an expectation that's going to help us win this year. Because as my friend Riley Brooks said it on a text, that's when I learned this expression. I think I told you it yesterday. Was it's like putting lipstick on a pig. Like it's just going to pretty it up a little bit, but like it's not going to make it perfect.
Yeah, but at the same time, like sometimes you might be a good-looking female, but you just don't have the right makeup on you. That could be what the Mariners are.
We're not, though, because we have 5-6 different places that aren't doing well. So, like, that's...
I'm saying we could. I mean, here's the thing. Like, if you go look through our team, I would say the outfield, we don't really need anything. The problem is we have a lot of average, right? Like, what do we need?
I mean, you could say a second baseman, but Caballero's been fine.
Yeah, a second baseman and a DH?
We need a DH.
Yeah, so here's some options I have for you. This is from Seattle Sports. Option 1, the Diamondbacks. They have a ton of outfielders that they're almost platooning them. Cincinnati's Jonathan India, who could and we do a lot of trades with Cincinnati as we all know. Those are like the two big things. A guy named Jonathan India for the Cincinnati Reds seems like someone that has been linked to us. And I don't know much about Jonathan India, but let's pull up his stats for you here. Jonathan India is a infielder, so he'd play second base for the Mariners if he was coming. He's batting .276 this year, and he's young. He was born in '96, so he's 27 years old. 6 home runs, 29 RBIs, .274. Would something like that intrigue you to fix the second base position?
Not really.
Me either.
Because what's that going to do? How many wins is what's his WAR? 1? Like help us with a win on the season,
yeah.
Right? Like we're gonna go from 29-30 to 31-29 and still be out of the wild card. Like as much as obviously, if you told me we're making a trade for a huge bat, even if it doesn't equate winning this year, if you tell me we're making a trade for a Jazz Chisholm or a Aaron Judge or a Mike Trout, of course I'd always say yes. But a guy that's like maybe like a slightly wins above replacement, what's that going to do for this year? Give us an extra win or two and still miss the wild card by 4 games?
Yeah, but if he's a guy who's going to be here for 6 years, is that something you'd want? Like, or do you just wait until next year and go into the free agents market and go shopping that way?
I would just play out this year. Let's see if somehow Caballero just turns out to be a consistent 260 hitter.
That's how I feel as well.
Let's see if maybe Wong, after some time, I mean, like Wong has been a guy who's played good baseball in his career. There's sometimes change of scenery hurts guys a little bit, but they just need some time to figure it out. I'd rather not give up on guys we've paid. and go for a guy that we're not 100% sure is going to equate to us being much better. Of course, like, that's easier said than done because if you're Jerry DiPoto and a Scott Service and, you know, you're also trying to make sure your job stays secure and you end up the season well, because if this team spirals out of control, that's on you, Jerry, and that's on Scott Service. Those are the people that get fired, not players. Players will just end up on another team.
Yeah, it's much easier to trade a GM, get rid of a GM and a coach, than get rid of your whole roster.
Exactly. So I don't think Jerry will see it the same way that I'm seeing it, but at the same time, I do expect him to make some types of moves. My problem is a lot of our moves have been lateral moves the last 6 to 12 months outside of the Castillo trade.
Yeah.
Hernandez was supposed to not be a lateral move, but it's kind of like
Turned into one.
Yeah, I mean, like, I'm not saying our outfield was good with like the Hanigers and the Winkers last year, but we made the playoffs. It was fine.
Yeah, DH like Carlos Santana would be nice right now.
Yeah, I mean, I would have liked to re-sign him. I think he was cheaper than AJ Pollock.
Yeah.
Pollock doesn't even see the field anymore.
Yeah, because he's not very good.
Yeah, so that's where my trades sometimes are like, you know, when I look at it, is it really worth it? Like, if we were to trade for an AJ Pollock, you know, you'd say, before he's on your team, you'd say, oh, nice trade. Like,
Yeah.
might be really useful, but, like, is it really that useful? If he's
Not right
if
now.
he's not a great player,
Not
it might not be
right
that good.
now. That's fair enough to say.
So my conclusion is don't make trades unless, like, we get in a really hot streak come trade deadline.
Fair enough.
Hot streak changes everything, like last year. Always.